Good morning, everyone. I think we are all set to begin, and I would like to start by my opening remarks. And very honored and pleased to be with all of you. And let us just remember that between 2015 and 2025, we had 10 years during which humanity continued to emit greenhouse gases into the atmosphere at a rate that did not decrease as much as it should have. There are quite a number of climato-sceptics around, but science is proving to us that those who think differently are not on the right track. Despite the signing of the historic Paris Agreement at COP21 and the commitments made by the parties to the convention, the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere continues to increase. It is more necessary than ever to bring everyone's commitments to the forefront, starting with those of the partners and members of the International Initiative 4 per 1,000, Soils for Food Security and Climate. As it completes its first decade of existence, the initiative can count on its 880 partners around the world to ensure that increasing amounts of carbon are sequestrated in agriculture and forest soils through appropriate agroecological and forestry practices. It is regrettable that progress remains modest and that the scale of change is still insufficient, but it is important to highlight the global movement that has been building over the past 10 years in favor of soils, their health, and their capacity to sequester large amounts of carbon, with multiple objectives related to a fight against climate change, biodiversity loss, desertification, and of course, food insecurity. That is why we wanted to mark this 10th anniversary by preparing a document that takes stock of the evolution of the initiative and its network over the last 10 years, as well as the progress is made in implementing the Strategic Plan 2050 and developing agroecology in the major regions of the world. This document also represents the first version of the initiative's scorecard, which constitutes Objective F3 of the Strategic Plan 2050. I would like to remind you that this document is available online on our website. Throughout 2025, the initiative is celebrating its 10th anniversary by organizing events such as the one held in Paris during the Change Now Summit at the Grand Palais on April 24, as well as the Soil Carbon for Climate Conference in Berlin on the theme of temperate climate countries from September 11 to 13, and of course, with the 9th online 4 per 1,000 initiative day yesterday and today. And finally, with side events to be held during COP30 of a climate change convention in Belém next month. We would have liked to do much more, especially during COP30, which will also mark the 10th anniversary of COP21 in Paris and the eponymous agreement. But the initiative's budgetary resources, as we all know, do not allow us to be more ambitious in this regard. As we have done regularly for nearly 9 years, I renew our call for regular and substantial support for the initiative to enable it to continue its activities. We will return to various ways of achieving this, and concrete proposals will be made to you during the 11th meeting of a members' consortium. For my part, this will be my last time chairing a meeting of a members' consortium, as I will be stepping down as vice president at the end of 2025 to make way for Stéphane as outgoing vice president. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the partners and members of the initiative who have joined us and added their voices and actions to ours, as well as those who have supported us in terms of budgetary and human resources. Germany, France, Spain, and all the other supporters, more than 20 since 2015. I would like to also thank very warmly all the teams of the scientific and technical committee and the executive secretariat, which has really managed all these processes in an extraordinarily way. With talent, passion, high competence, and executive secretariat with the current and former members, as well as my fellow presidents and vice presidents. We still have so much to do, and much depends on your decisions today, your support for the initiative, and for the work of the executive secretariat. So we will have to discuss this in the consortium of members, which I'm going to open without further ado. So we all have the agenda in front of us. So let me move to the adoption of the agenda. If there is not any comment or particular point which is raised regarding the agenda, I think we will adopt the agenda. So the agenda is adopted. And now the next point will be the approval of the consortium report number 10 and the forum report number 9, which was done online on 27 and 26 November 2024. I don't see any hand which is raised in that regard. No. Paul, would you like to?
I control and I will let you know, Ibrahim, but there is no remark so far.
Okay, perfect. So if this is the case, then we can move to our item A, which is about general matters. And we will go to a point related to welcoming new partners and members. And Paul, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. I'm going to share my screen. It's okay?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
So since the last consortium meeting last year, we just received new candidature, and most of the candidature have been validated by the Bureau during the year, the 2025 years. But since the last Bureau meeting, we received 3 candidature. We still have some who arrived yesterday, but it was too late for this meeting of the consortium. So yeah, we have 2 NGOs, Center for Rural Empowerment and Agricultural Transformation for Sustainability coming from USA, and AgriVentures coming from Bulgaria. And we have 1 business, Symbiotic Agroecology, coming from France, that would like to join us. So then you will decide to welcome them or not. If not, if I may continue, sorry. I have to give a small overview of all the new partners and members that joined the initiative during the year validated by the Bureau. We had 2 government and local authority, Métropole Européenne de Lille from France and Høtsfjord County Council from Norway who join us. We have also the pleasure to welcome the European Commission. We already discussed this point yesterday, but this is this confirmation here as an international organization. We had the private foundation and funding organization from Uganda and Canada, Kulika Africa Holding and Chrysalab Inc. We have 2 research institute and university, Institute of Agricultural Research and Training from Nigeria, and National Donghang University Carbon Neutral Center Research from China. And we have also 3 farmers organizations, one from Democratic Republic of Congo, Coopérative Agro-Pastorale Amis de la Terre, and one from Ecuador, Genesen Natural, and La Coopérative Agricole Luzerne de France from France. Then we had 13 NGOs joining us. So I will not mention all the names, but you have the list complete here, from Benin, Congo, Republic Democratic of Congo, Mexico, Ghana, Spain, Colombia, Cameroon, Côte d'Ivoire, Serbia, Denmark, Uganda. And you can see that we also have to delete or to remove one member, which is I Give Tree, an NGO, because the NGO disappears, stop their activity. So we remove them, and we will start removing some of the members and partners from now, because some of them disappear, and so we have to take in consideration also that. We receive also 7 new business. So they are there from Ukraine, Taiwan, France, Uganda, and Morocco. And we had to remove 2 of the previous business that joined us before. So you have the list here in red. So you will find in the new activity report that was presented yesterday that you have the complete list of all partners and members at this time of the year. The one validated by the Bureau are already included, and the 3 that are waiting for your approval, those 3 will be included in the next list that will be published on our website. So, Mr. President, we just would like the consortium to validate the list of the members and partners that were admitted by the Bureau, and admitted the 3 new members that deposit their candidature between the last Bureau and our meeting of today.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. So we will ask our members to look at this, and if there is no particular remark, we will go through both validations, the validations of a long list and the validation of a short list of additional 3. But what is striking for me is the expansion of the membership, but at the same partners and members, and at the same time, a diversified expansion, where you have academia, public sector, private sector, non-governmental organizations. This is really a sign of inclusive governance, not only in terms of the nature of members, of partners, but also in terms of geographical repartition. So it's quite impressive. Any particular remark regarding?
I see no remark in the
Okay.
attendance.
So then it is approved, and we move to a following point, where I will ask you to intervene, Paul. It's the 2025 Bureau Activity Report.
Yes. So if I may, Mr. President, we have to approve first the activity report that I presented yesterday.
Okay, okay. Yes, you are totally right. And so let's go to this point, approval of the 2024-2025 4 per thousand activity report presented during the 10th Forum of Partners online. So is it, are there any hands raised? There are no hands raised. So
No, I
formally,
see no remark.
formally, the activity report, the 2024-2025 activity report is approved. So now we can move to a point regarding the 2025 Bureau activity report, and over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. So I made a small presentation of this. I just recall you that the Bureau is an expression of the consortium of the members that are elected regularly. And so all the stakeholder groups are represented, except the business, the for-profit organization that are not members, so they cannot be represented in the Bureau.
Yeah.
Each of the college is electing a representative of the members. So we have for the sub-college of national and local government, we have Germany and Norway. For the sub-college of international organization, we have the GSP hosted by FAO. For the research and education institution, we have the alliance, I would say, IRD and Laboratoire Radioisotope of Madagascar. And we have also the Senegalese Institute for Agricultural Research as alternate. And for the producer group, we have GCAN International as a titular and Farmers Pride International from Botswana as an alternate. And as NGOs, we have Akalod from Mali and Sakani from South Africa. So this is the composition of the Bureau. And of course, on the top of that, the chair, the vice chair, the co-chair of the STC, and the executive secretariat are represented in the Bureau. And this is this whole community that compose the Bureau and analyze, give advice, or validate some information proposed by the secretariat. So during the year 2025, we had 5 meetings in February, March, May, July, and September. And we validated new members and partners, as I just presented to you. So we had 30 new partners, including 15 new members that were validated, and the withdrawal of 2, among which 1 member. That's exactly what I just presented to you. We have also some activities concerning the continuation of the activity of the Bureau. Of course, it concerns the presidency, as Mrs. Ercilia Saores will become president at the end of the year in the position of Stéphane at the moment, and Stéphane Le Foll will become a new outgoing vice president, while Ibrahim Mayaki will finish his mandate. So we have launched a call for new incoming vice president candidature. We launched this from 15th of July to 13th of September. And it will be presented in the issue for governance issue at the end of this consortium meeting. But so far, we have a very, very small amount of candidature, so there will be a proposal made to the consortium of that aspect. There will be another proposal concerning Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki and myself for the consortium examination at the end of this consortium, so I will not, but the Bureau validated all those propositions. The Bureau also examined the possibility to renew the STC member. We have also launched a call for candidature from the 15th of July to the 13th of September. We received a dozen of candidature, and the selection need to be organized. So there will be some proposal also made on that aspect to the consortium in one of the last agenda items. We also, validated at the level of the Bureau the celebration of the 10th anniversary at the Change Now summit in Paris in April 24th, and the preparation of the special document. The Bureau was informed and validated all these steps during that time. There were also some information point for the Bureau to know about all the meetings that we are organizing or co-organizing during the year. We talked about the conference organized during the GSP Plenary Assembly in Rome in June, the first Latin America and Caribbean regional meeting in Rio in June, also the meeting in Berlin, the Soil for Carbon Climate Symposium in Berlin in September. And we also request the opinion and the advice of the Bureau concerning the main theme of our 4 per mille day. Was so obvious this year about the fact that this is our 10th anniversary, but we also asked them to validate the fact that we had it online and not in person. And finally, we discussed with the Bureau the organization of some side events and during the COP30 in Belém. I presented that point yesterday, and it was well welcomed by the Bureau. So that's it for the activity of the Bureau, and there will have another meeting in December after the COP. So it will come after, but they will be informed about the change, the last change, due to the end of the year.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul, for this comprehensive, at the same time detailed activity report of a Bureau. And as you alluded to, there are some proposals that will be looked at the end of our meeting. So there are no particular remarks.
No, I can see no remarks.
Okay, so we can move to the next item of our agenda, which is proposals of a scientific and technical committee. And I will ask Dr. Claudia Shep, the scientific director of the executive secretariat of the initiative, to present the proposals that the STC wants to be included in the 4 per 2026 roadmap. And I think I see Dr. Claudia Shep. Over to you, Claudia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mayaki. That's really kind. Yes, I'm happy to introduce what this time really is only the tentative work plan of the Scientific and Technical Committee. We're going to have the next STC meeting only next week. So we had some preliminary discussions with the members online, or like via mail, but we will have the proper meeting next week. So we will confirm the plan after the meeting again. What we will talk about in more detail later, or Paul will mention this, is the renewal of 3 STC members, which will probably be around February, March. The application was already open, and we will now start the selection process with the ad hoc selection committee again, but more on that later. The scientific committee will also continue as the interim scientific committee for the soil carbon IRC, which was former the OCASA project, but is now the soil carbon futures. And as we heard yesterday, we will now have a shared co-chair position, which is held by Budiman Minasni and Deborah Bossio at the moment. And they will continue in this function next year. We are aiming to strengthen the collaboration with the GSP ITPS. We already had a common session this year, and we're aiming to have, or planning to have, another joint session in the coming year, and also work on common projects, which will be further elaborated during the upcoming meeting. There is hopefully going to be 2 STC meetings in person, or that's what we're aiming at least. If that's not possible, one is going to be online again, but we also had very good experiences with the online meetings so far. So either way, it will work. Yes, if there's going to be a regional meeting, maybe in South Africa, as we heard yesterday, there's definitely also going to be a participation and contribution from the committee members during this meeting again, as they did this year in the Latin American and the temperate regions one. And the STC will also give guidance regarding the strategic priorities of the initiative for the next decade of the Kate Mill. This will also be an important issue during the upcoming meeting next week. We will continue our soil science webinar series with planned 3 or 4 webinars. One hopefully still happening this year, and the other one's happening in 2026. We will have at least 2 new soil carbon nodes. So we heard yesterday from Budiman Minasni that the first one will be on the difference between the concepts of land and soil in the political context. And the second one will be elaborated at a later point, as it should always fit to the current political processes going on. Yes, the members will actively seek opportunities to publish an STC-authored paper in a high-quality journal, as was the case when Cornelia Rampel was still chair of the STC, and we're aiming to continue in this really successful line. We also heard yesterday from Budiman Minasmi that there's going to be a special issue celebrating the 10th anniversary of the initiative in the Soil Advances journal, in the Elsevier journal Soil Advances, which many of the STC members are going to be co-editors of. Budiman also shared the call for papers yesterday, so the call is still open until the end of the month, and I will share the link in the chat again later on. Yes, and lastly, we're going to have a close look if we can elaborate a model for the interaction with junior scientists. We already had a program of that kind 2 years ago, and we're going to look into it, like what was successful, how it could be improved, and how we can intensify the collaboration with young scientists and the scientific committee of the initiative. Yes, so far that's the plan. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia, and it's very clear. And are there any questions regarding these proposals?
No, I cannot see anything. I just recall the participant that today we have a Q&A possibility at the back of your screen on Zoom. So if you have any question or remark, just post something there. If we cannot give you the floor, so that will be the easiest way to collaborate and to participate.
Perfect. Thank you. So let me thank you again, Claudia, for this presentation. And and we can move now to item C of the agenda, which is about the work program for 2026 roadmap and budget. And I will ask Beatrice, who is the Strategic Partnership and Global Outreach Director, to intervene on this point. Over to you, Beatrice.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So I will present you the FOPEMIL 2026 roadmap. So to come back to the first decade, we had a founding document, which is a strategic plan 2050. And this document was adopted by the consortium of members in June 2022. It sets a clear vision and mission for the next 25 years with 24 strategic objectives. We have now something else, which is also a very big work that was achieved this year. We have the FOPEMIL report about the first decade of actions. So Paul has presented all the details of this report yesterday, but it says clearly where we were at the inception of the initiative and what we reached towards the 10 years and what was achieved. So it is available on the website of the Faux-Polymer Initiative, and it will be translated soon in French and Spanish for every partners and members. So orientations and activities for 2026. So we always divide the roadmap in 7 major chapters relating to the 7 core facilities. The core facilities being the actions led by the Executive Secretariat. So these 7 major chapters are strategy, governance and administration, advocacy and awareness, soil health programs, networking and collaboration, and partnership and alliances, and 3 cross-cutting actions, which are the Twin Region project, resource mobilization, and also the dashboard. I will not go into details on every chapters, but I've selected a few pages. So to come back to the first decade with the strategic plan, as I said, we had also an operation framework that was designed end of 2021. We review slightly, to be more precise, the strategic plan in 2022. So that's version 2 we're currently using. We wrote an implementation plan end of 2022. And since then, we had the active work to create coalitions, partnerships and alliances that we will continue this work in 2026 with key stakeholders. A zoom on advocacy and awareness. Point 3 was the contribution to international debates on soil health. So I'm not talking again about all the side events at COPs and all the events that are already planned, but I want to speak about something. It will be the participation in meetings, symposia, and other conferences, but there will be a new World Living Soils Forum in 2026. This started in 2022 and for the second edition in 2024, south of France. It was the first inception was made by Moet and C. Now they will open the organization to other stakeholders, but you have to be aware that Faux-Polymer is part of the committee organizing it and bringing its expertise on soil health. So we'll go forward with also all the UN agencies of the 3 Rio conventions on the topic of soil health and continue to the advocacy and awareness work on this. Networking and collaboration, which is a core facility 5. So this is about the organization of meetings at regional level. So that's the strategic objective A2. So I've put 2 things here is the possible Australia Pacific Regional Conference in Australia in 2026, but it's not confirmed at all, I must say. So place and dates to be defined. But we can hear from now on that COP Climate 31 may take place in Australia. So everything will depend on this and also on the budget available to do that. We are also thinking of a Southern Africa Regional Conference because the last one was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And so the feasibility need to be confirmed early 2026. So participation to the 3 COPs, Climate 31, end of 2026, probably the desertification and biodiversity COPs that happen every 2 years. And also it will also depend on the dates, on the available budget to do that, but we have already a calendar with all these big events. So as I just said before, the World Living Soils Forum and the Change Now edition, the 2026 edition in Paris, that will happen early April. Just to come back on this, for the new people in the room, partnerships and alliances, we have decided to call partnerships to the fact that we reach partners to support core facilities. So this is more led by the Executive Secretariat. And we talk about alliances to support global facilities. So this is a call to other partners and members to work all together. And in this configuration, the Executive Secretariat is more a supporter of the subject. So we have plenty of existing partnerships. I won't go through all details, but you have to know that for countries and regional countries and regions, we have been supported since 10 years on a very permanent way by the French Ministry of Agriculture, by the German Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Regional Identity, it's a new name, but the Spanish Ministry of Agriculture, by 2 research institutes that have been RD, CIRAD, also the Soil Carbon IRC. And you can see here, so with also international organizations like the CG System Organization, who hosted that till end of 2020, and the Alliance of Biodiversity and CIAT, who are currently hosting us. We have also MOU with OIV. And so a lot of work has been made with all these people, and you can find all the details in the report, which is on the landing page of the consortium. Existing partnership also with, for example, the AAA adaptation of African agriculture to climate change. It's an American initiative. The Farm Foundation, with whom we work on the ACMED project dedicated to the Mediterranean area. And we'll have a two-day event at SIAM in Montpellier early November. And they already did some workshop in Morocco and Egypt too. And we have also, so I won't go through everything, but we have also partnership with the private sector with some funding agreements, and especially this year with funding from Earthworm Foundation, Royal Canin, pour une agriculture du vivant, and also McDonald's. So I will then finish with a zoom on resource mobilization, which is said a cross-cutting action, is a F2 strategic objective. So what we did in 2025, I will explain in the next presentation, which is a funding resources to the FOPEM initiative, that it has been really a fight since 10 years to find out and be very innovative and agile to find solutions to bring money to the Executive Secretariat for the operation budget. And what we did in 2024 and 2025 and do again in 2026, it's a call for funding towards the partners, members, and friends of the FOPEM initiative. And end of 2025, we did a video with Paul for a call for support, and you can find it on YouTube, and we posted it on the social networks. But the idea was to seek more private funding for the operating budget, knowing, I will present that later, but knowing that during 10 years, if we calculate exactly where the operational budget of the initiative was coming, it's still 96.5% of public funding. So we need to change this model. We have, what is good, we have now a landing page, LOASO, which allows any structure, any organization, any individual to provide money with your credit card. You can donate to the initiative, and it's also interesting for the French people, French organization based in France. They can get some fiscal deductions through it. And later I will talk about the funding resources and some ideas we have for the future. So this is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Beatrice. It's very clear.
Welcome.
I very much like the point regarding the harmonized view of UN agencies regarding the topic of soil health. And as I am a member of the high-level advisory board of the UN on the post-2030 agenda, it's a point that I will certainly raise. Now, is there any question or hand raised regarding this point, this item of
No.
the agenda?
I cannot see any comments nor
Okay.
request for the floor.
Okay, and no comment on the chat box either, no?
No.
Question? Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you.
So, thank you, Beatrice, and we consider the roadmap as adopted then. So now let's move to the next item of the agenda, where I will hand over to Paul, which is about meetings of the International for Performance Initiative, Forum, the Consortium, the Bureau, STC in 2026, and COP Climate 31. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. So it will be quite short and fast, I would say. Beatrice already indicated a lot of those possibilities that we will have next year. So all will depend, of course, on the budget that we will have. So this is just proposition. Usually we have 2 STC meetings. That's what Claudia also presented. This is the wish of the STC to have 2 meetings in person this year, as we usually do. This, when I say this year, that will be next year, of course. It will be the STC meeting number 21 and number 22 already. So one is usually in the first semester and the second to the second semester. So we have to wait to see the resource of the initiative, to see when and how and where we can organize the one in May or June. We would like to insist on the fact that, as we know that there is a COP climate at the end of the year, we privilege the fact to have the STC on board with us during the COPs, because it's also allow them to participate, to see what's going on in the COP, in the blue zone and the green zone. And we organize also side events, and they participate as a speaker in the side event, which is also very important for them. So if we can privilege that according to the budget resources next year, we will prefer that, and organizing the in-person STC meeting maybe on the sideline of the COP 31. That might be in Australia, as Beatrice explained, in Adelaide, but it needs to be confirmed, of course, by the organizer of the COP 31st. So if we can, we will organize that there. And of course, we will have the 4 per meal day, the 10, that would be the 10th one, organized on the spot during the COP 31st. And I sincerely hope that we will be able to do so, because last year was already in line. This year it's online. And the last meeting we had really in presential was in Dubai 2 years ago. And we really need to stick with the in-person version, or hybrid for the one who cannot come, but it's always better to meet, and meet during the COP. It's also very important. So as it was also said by Beatrice, but we need to have confirmation, we would like to organize a meeting, a regional meeting for Africa, maybe more about Southern Africa. There are several members or partners that expressed the wish to organize such a meeting. It was supposed maybe to take place this year, but it was not possible for various reasons. And we hope that it will be during the second semester next year in Southern Africa. So far, that's all that we can say about the planning that we have on the meetings for next year.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. And I don't know if there are any comments on your presentation, but it's what I say is the importance of the in-person STC meeting during the COP 31 as a regular type of meeting. I think it's important because people meet each other, and whenever there is that individual presential interaction, new ideas do emerge. So it's important. Any comment? I think you are muted.
Sorry, you're right. There is a comment telling that the STC meeting can be rotational to create its presence as well. It is rotational because we are going everywhere that we can. We try to avoid people from the STC to travel only for STC meeting. So we usually organize such a STC meeting back to back with other meetings. And there are two main categories of conference that we would like to have this STC back to back. One is the COP, as I said just before, and the other one is from the regional meeting. So, for instance, last year we had the meeting in Rabat for the regional meeting for Mediterranean, and the STC was there during that, and they participate also to this regional meeting. The year before it was in Helsinki, they were there also. So we try to avoid traveling only for that, but we always try to have the people in presence, and this is very important. There is another remark, but it concerns the presentation made by Beatrice about the part of our finance that is coming from public, and there is almost no private or individual or private foundation involvement. Well, if Elise, who is the one who proposed that question, can allow us to come back to that point when we will discuss with the proposition that we will make to the consortium at the end of this meeting, then we can answer that question more in depth, and Beatrice will have some figure to propose, of course, on that. So we will do that at that time.
Okay, thank you, Paul. So I think I'll again hand over to you on the issue of financial and human resources, including information about the executive secretariat and its composition. So over to you.
Yes, can you just pronounce the magic word that the meeting proposition is validated by the consortium?
Yes, you are right to remind me of that, and this is the second time you are reminding it to me.
No, this is my job.
Okay, I know. So if there are no objection, you don't see any?
No, I don't see
I don't see any. So then it is evident.
We open the fact that the people start making some remarks, and I'm very glad that they are doing so.
Yeah,
we have a remark from Vincent Blanfort from CIRAD telling that next year will be the International Year from Rangeland, and so there will be some activities, and mainly that will be interesting in the context of the UNCCD COP17 in Ulaanbaatar, and so we'll try to go there also, but if not, there will be partners and members that will be able to participate and represent the initiative, as they can always do. So it will be very nice if we can co-organize something. We'll be more than happy. And there will be another question about the need for proposal for transforming public funding to result-based funding. So maybe Beatrice, you can take this question in your basket and answer to that question later on when we will come back to that point. So if I may, I will start my presentation on the budget situation, and then we will go to the proposition by Beatrice for the future, and then it will be possible to answer all those questions.
Perfect.
So the situation as of today. So we are, I mean, I anticipated a little bit the end of the year because it's a little bit special this year. Usually we have this meeting in November or beginning of December. It means at the very end of the year, and it's a little bit easier. Here we are only at the end of October, and it means that we have to anticipate what will happen during the 2 last months. All what I can say from now is the fact that first, last year, the consortium validated a budget of a little bit more than 1 million euro. Well, this is a budget that is validated, but of course you understood that it is not the budget that we have to work correctly. And in fact, during the year 2025, we only had a total contribution of 246,000 euro available. This take in consideration the fact that from last year we were expecting a contribution from Orcasa project of about more than 20,000 euro, and so this come after. So we finished the year last year with a deficit of 20,000 euro that we had to, of course, fill at the beginning of the year with this incoming contribution from Orcasa project. It arrives. So finally, this year, the total amount available for the budget was 246,000 euro only, compared to the 1 million euro voted last year. So we spend, and we will spend up to the end of the year, maybe a little bit less because there are some good contribution from the Ministry of Agriculture that arrive, who will help us to go to the COP in Belém. So that will make our expenses a little bit less than expected. But globally, I can give you the figure. We were supposed to spend roughly about 275 or 78,000 euro, which is a little bit more than the amount that we have. So that's the way. We hope that some invoice will arrive later. So we'll see how we can finish the year to be almost balanced. The executive secretary, of course, is provided in most of its components by secondment made by France, Germany, Spain, and CIRAD. And the offices are provided by the Occitania region through Agropolis International, which is about 24,000 euro altogether in kind contribution. And this is quite interesting, and we encourage this kind of contribution. But this is not taking care of the cost of the people. So I need to be very clear. The 24,000, it concerns only the contribution from CIRAD with just a small amount with a position of one person and the offices. So it is anticipated at the end of the year that we will have a level of expenditure will let a small kind of deficit above about 30,000 euro. It's not completely confirmed, and I hope that this will be a lot less than that to avoid to let some debt behind me. I don't like that at all. Here you have a table about the main expenditure that we have all around the year. So you can see what we have to pay for the hosting of the initiative by the SIAT Biodiversity, and for the expenses also linked to the offices. The offices, we are not paying any rent, but we have to pay the charges. So that's why there is a little bit of amount there. And there is the cost of the position of Beatrice over there also, the travel expenses that will reduce a lot this year compared to the other year. There are the cost of the consultant that are working with our website, with the platform, collaborative platform, and communication, conception of the graphism, and so on. And then there were the cost of the STC that we organized in Rio in June. That will be in the majority will be paid by a contribution from Orcasa project, because the STC is also the STC of the IRC, which is was funded up to now by the Orcasa project. So altogether, we have a total amount of roughly 278,000 euro that were spent. We have a little bit of budget also concerning the regional meeting. So the regional meeting in Rio was organized and paid in majority by the soil carbon ERCs, that means for the Orcasa project, and by the EMBRAPA. You have the detail there and some contribution also. We receive a small contribution by the Farm Foundation. Well, we are expecting it, so I hope it will come, to help for the venue of Colombian farmers to that regional meeting. And they were supposed to have another one from Guyana, French Guiana, but well, unfortunately, she could not come at the end. So the total contribution of the cost of the regional meeting in Rio was a little bit more than 140,000 euro paid by all those contributors. And we had the regional meeting in Berlin. So this is a rough estimate. This is not a precise contribution, but it was organized and paid by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Regional Identity, and very well organized by our friend from BLE, mainly the 4 per mil secretariat part in Bonn, and the Humus program, which is a German program on soil. So thanks to this contribution, it was a very, very nice meeting. So in the context of this very difficult situation concerning our budget, I'd say that you also had the presentation of the roadmap, and we will try to do our best to develop all those activities. They were already detailed by Beatrice. I will not come back on those, but this is important to note. We propose to the consortium to adopt a budget which is roughly identical to the one of last year. It means the core budget was last year 780,000 euro. This is the same, but of course you understand that this is directly linked to the amount that you will be able to give us to work. I will not spend 780,000 euro for the year if I do not have this amount. So it's very clear, and so we stick to our resources to define our priorities. Next year, we are expecting to have only one regional meeting, so 120,000 euro are included in the budget. So it means a total annual budget of 900,000 euro. So before finishing, I wanted to show you the evolution of what's going on with our budget. On this graphic, I add one more year. You already see that graphic last year, but I want to add this year in this graphic. And you can see that in blue, this is the voted budget. In green, you have the really available budget. So you can see that there is a large difference. And in red, this curve shows the percentage of the total voted budget as a reality and availability for the Secretariat to work. And you see that we reached once, long time ago, 60%. Then from 2021, we were a lot under 50%. And this year we were close to 25, 26% of the reality. So it's really very, very concerning for us, and we really need to improve that situation. And this one is the one I showed also yesterday during the forum of the partners. You have in blue stick, the report from the previous year. In green, you have the available budget of the year. In red, you have the expenses, and you have two lines. The yellow line is the level of expenditure related to the budget available. So you see that, well, it should be under 100%, while this year we'll go over. And in blue line, you have the report from last year in terms of percentage of the budget. And then you see that for the first time since the beginning, we start the year with a negative report from last year. So that is why we insist on the fact that we open this LOASO possibility to receive donation. So Beatrice explained that to you before, and she will come back on that. We also mention on our website a small support us button on the top of the website in order to encourage people that would like to give some money to do so. And then, of course, they will go directly to the LOASO platform. And as Beatrice mentioned earlier, we recorded a video that were broadcast on all the network and mainly our social networks to ask and encourage people to give us some money. So, of course, if you follow the link, you will come again on the LOASO platform. So if you want to help us, so please go on the networks and use that video and just transfer it to all your contact and encourage the people to give money. Even 10 euros, it's always something that are very useful. We already had some donator at this level, and we would like to continue to do so. I think that's all for me. Thank you very much. I give back to you, Ibrahim.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. And this item is closely linked to a next item. What I say is the gap, which is constant between the voted budget and the available one. And I think this has been the case since the beginning, if I remember well.
Yes.
But at the same time, the capacity of all our institutional ecosystem and the Secretariat to move in strong implementation processes in order to have impact has been quite impressive. Evidently, each one of us need to be a resource mobilizer. And I think that the opening of a new door in order to sensitize and mobilize people directly, I think it's an important step. It might not bring millions of euros, but it will be a significant demonstration of the credibility of the initiative and the will of people to adhere through financial support. So let me see what are the questions.
There is no direct question. I mean, it's mainly directed to what Beatrice will present after.
Okay, good. So it's is the adoption.
Yep.
So if there are no objection, we consider it adopted, and we can move to the next item, and we'll hand over to Beatrice on the issue of funding. So Beatrice, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mayaki. So do you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
So this item, funding resources for the FOPEMIL initiative, has been already presented yesterday for information, but this is a document we should consider today. So this will, I hope, answer some questions. So I will spend some time on the first decade and then have some proposals for the second decade. So during the first decade, so during the 10 years from 2016 till 2025 included, we have estimated that the FOPEMIL initiative has received a total contribution of 6.7 million euros, which is a big amount of contribution. This amount includes three things. First, operating budget for the Executive Secretariat, in-kind resources estimations, and budget for regional and thematic meetings. So you can see point A, B, C, and you see that the operating budget estimation for the first decade accounts for 34%, so I would say 1/3 of it, of this 6.7 million. The in-kind resources, so secondments, so human resources, but also others. It was calculated and included in those calculations. It can be places that were offered to us. It can be studies that were conducted for the FOPEMIL initiative. So this is what we call the in-kind, and the in-kind is 56% of this overall budget during the first decade. And then we have the point C, and that's how I will reply to Ms. Daudeville. Regional meetings and thematic conference, so we could gather a bit more than 700,000 euros. And this regional meeting out of the global budget represent 10%. So I talk about the 96% of public funding, but this was for the operating budget. When we look at the regional meetings, the share of the private funding is 30.5% and 86% for the public funding, because when we all do with our partners some regional meetings, I must say it's a bit easier to call for support to call for financial support. That's why we're quite good in showing that we'll do a conference and to attract funders in this configuration. So I will now move to the second page, which is, so first, we are for sure very, very grateful to all the funders and to the stability that was provided by the French Ministry of Agriculture, the German Ministry of Agriculture, and the Spanish one, and also to research institutes like ERD and CIRAD. So they have been very supportive during this first decade of existence, and thanks to that, we could really do a lot. So being back to these funding resources, as I just said, 96.5 for the operating budget are still public funding, and we know that due to the geopolitical context globally, we may go through some scarcity with all what we see around the world. And the second fact about this operation budget is that, as Paul explained before, there's this large gap between the voted budget versus the real operating budget that we have in our hands. And the average was about 40% during those 10 years. And the thing is that it's more critical now. So around 40% of the voted budget at the end of every year. But we saw a net decline in the last 3 years, and we reached 24% in 2025. Why this? Because we've done more and more numerous activities were conducted. We really did some exponential activities. We really demultiplied what we were doing. And also there was, in parallel, a small decrease in the financial reserve, because Paul has been saving money every year, try and keep some money for the year afterwards, but we've done so many that this has also decreased. So our duty is always to fund. Why we need more operating budget? Because we need to consolidate the mission of the FOPEM initiative. We need still to go on, multiply actions in the continuity of the first decade. And as we all know, we need to move forward and act more strongly, more quickly, and on a larger scale. And also because it is expected from our network, and because we have this still growing network, which is also demanding support and actions from us. So what we will do for the next decade? We will for sure continue to solicit private funders as we did, so it will be pursued. We never let it down. We will search for new money from private funders. We'll try also to do some adjunction to funded project, for example, a funded project by the EU, and try to be partners in those projects. And the third point, which is in the middle, I will talk about it now, is also we've been now thinking, due to this scarcity of means, to the possible involvement of the FOPEM network of partners and members. So how could we do that? But first, before saying that, I would like to show you this graph, which is a result of a questionnaire that was sent to the FOPEM network. So I put that in brackets because it was a question we raised. We got not so many replies, but this is an interesting result. So the question was, is your organization willing to contribute to the initiative's operational budget with a yearly membership or partnership fee? So you see that in dark blue, you have 47% of the replying organization that said, yes, if one is free to decide on the amount of the contribution. The second, the light blue, 22% was yes, if the amount was adjusted toward region and stakeholder group. And in gray, you have some people saying 31% yes, but we would leave the initiative if a fee was introduced. But this can be a bias because we haven't put in that questions amounts. So of course, if we say, will you pay? We can say no. But so these are declarative assumptions. These are not quantitative, but still it gives some interesting news. So for the second decade, we think that these figures make it relevant, first, to explore the possibilities and the design of a voluntary membership fee model. So I insist on the voluntary, not mandatory, for the involvement of the 4% network, and through the study of existing models, and of course, it's tailoring for the 4% network, because we have different multi-stakeholder groups. We know that many of them are located in Global South. We know that farmers' organizations or tiny NGOs can't afford to pay some fees. So what we would like to do is to really tailor our propositions to our network. So in the complete document, which is on the landing page, I've put some examples of common fee models globally. I've put also some membership categories and voluntary fees. And so they are included in the attached documents. And you really have to be sure that we will consider, for example, the GDP of the country where the organization is located. We'll consider the size of the organization. We'll consider the geography, where is the headquarters of the organization, of the institutions, and we'll have a very deep look at this. So the propositions we would like to make to this 11th consortium are the followings. We are asking now to the consortium to give mandate to the 4% Executive Secretariat to explore different voluntary membership fee models in 2026. So tiered by stakeholder groups and in line with the different geographies, sizes of the network, as I've just said. We asked the consortium, we would like to request that the Executive Secretariat to present results and findings of this exploration to the Bureau of the initiative to seek orientation. So during the year, we have 6 meetings coming in 2026. And we would like also an agreement that a structured 4% voluntary membership fee model and policy would be approved by the Bureau, and that it would be presented and eventually approved at the 12th meeting of the consortium of members at the end of 2026. And we would like the consortium also to consider the implementation of the final 4% voluntary membership fee model approved with a defined calendar with an implementation as of early 2027. So this is a lot of information. This is a proposal, and we, as you have seen before in all the documents presented yesterday and today, we have always been trying to be innovative, knowing that all this is also coming from the fact that the 4% initiative doesn't have a legal personality. We are hosted by international organization, but as the 4% doesn't have a legal personality. That's why we have also, it's quite tricky to find the right model due to that. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. And if you have questions, they are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. And I think there are 2 issues on which you need the support of our members to give a mandate in order to explore voluntary fee models, and secondly, target 2027 as a kind of, not deadline, but as a target in order to have the Executive Secretariat present results and findings on the fees model. First, I think it's quite innovative, and the key argument here is tailoring the model to the stakeholders. So let us open to remarks, questions. Paul, I don't know if you see any. Or...
Well, we have seen a request to people to would like to get the document. So Claudia sent them the the link to have all those documents accessible on our platform. And well, there is a position telling that somebody said that they vote positively to that. So okay, so it's just there is no other comments on that specific topics.
Okay, so we can consider that it is supported.
Thank you very much.
I support the strategy. Jean-Luc showed ERD to everyone. Okay, we consider it is supported. And now I think, Paul, that we move to a Q&A sessions.
Well, if there is any
If there is
question,
any-
we just took the question while they are coming. I
Okay.
just would like to, I just got the information. I would like to inform the attendants that the monitoring law at the level of the European Union has just been adopted, which is a very good news for all of us. So we supported this law and it was adopted. Good.
Good. I think it's a good news. It's a good point. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we all dearly hope that these innovative mechanisms will bring more resources, and I think they will. So let us move to item D of the agenda, which is about governance issues. And Paul, I think, will share this item of the agenda, but I will.
Yes, I will have to come to share some part, say a few words, and then we will also let the floor to other persons. So let me start with that. So we have to propose to the consortium some governance issue. There are some which is more, I would say, for information more than decision, and the other one will be for decision. We already discussed that matter a little bit earlier about the partial renewal of the STC members. As you know, the Scientific and Technical Committee of the 4% initiative was installed in November 2016 during the first meeting of the consortium of the member in Marrakesh on the sideline of COP22. And since then, the STC has met 20 times. I mean, the 20, to be honest, will be next week. 19 times. I anticipate a little bit for the next meeting next week in face-to-face, online, or hybrid mode. Nowadays, among the 14 STC members that are still working in this committee, we have 6 that were appointed at the very early stage at COP22 in 2016. So some of those members, and even members that were appointed later, expressed their wish to step down because I just recall that the STC members are all volunteer. They are not paid for that. We only pay for the travel cost where they are traveling for the STC, that's all. And so it's quite demanding. And that is why we need also to change, to keep the motivation intact in the group. And 3 of those members ask us to be able to withdraw at the end of 2024. And we still have some that would like to withdraw at the end of 2026. So 2025, sorry, before, and 2026 now. So we have to consider that and renew the number of those members. So we proposed the following procedure. In fact, we already, as I announced before, had a call for candidature that were organized during the summer this year, and we received a dozen of candidature. So we will, as Claudia explained, rank those candidature with the help of an ad hoc selection committee. Usually it's a committee composed for that by very high research or scientific personality from all around the world that are really specific on soil or our subject about the 4% topics. And they are ranking the candidates, and then we can select a few numbers of those and propose to the consortium of the member to make the final choice. So we will complete the list of the 12 that we receive new candidature with the remaining pool from the last call of candidature from 2024. there are remaining a pool of about 15 persons. So altogether, it will be a small 30 candidature, and we will propose to make a ranking with the ad hoc selection committee to those people. And then finally, we will have a short list of 5 to 6 candidatures that will be submitted to the consortium of members through an electronic consultation at the beginning of next year. And anyway, prior to the 21st meeting of the STC. So that is what is proposed for that. I don't think we need to validate final this because it's already validated by the bureau, but it was just for information of the consortium of the member. The second point, well, concerned myself. So I will hand over to you, Ibrahim, to say a few words about that because I'm not the best position to present that. So Ibrahim, if you want to take the
Okay.
Just present this, and then we will, if you agree, we will give the floor to the representative from France.
Okay, perfect. So let me recall what our dear friend Dr. Paul Lou was appointed Executive Secretary in September 2016, officially nominated in November 2016 at the first consortium of members meeting in Marrakesh during COP 2022 of UNFCCC. After more than 9 years, he will retire at the beginning of 2026. I must say that one of the main motivation which stood me close to the initiative was the contamination of the passion of Paul for this initiative. So we have a very high admiration for all what you did, starting from scratch, building this movement, because it is a movement, and maintaining that serenity all over. We saw the numbers, the figures of a budget. And amidst the complexity of the task, you really led us in a quite rigorous, passionate, I repeat again, and committed way. So I will come back to that in my conclusions. You were seconded for the further initiative by the French Ministry of Agriculture, and we thank the French Ministry of Agriculture for that second month. I remember the first meetings which were held at the ministry, and the conditions were governed, and your second month did play a formidable, did have formidable support to the initiative. So now I will ask the French Ministry of Agriculture, which has an announcement to make on the replacement of Dr. Paul Lou to intervene. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, dear consortium members, dear Paul. Perhaps before addressing the issue of replacing the current executive secretary of 4 per 1,000 initiative, I would like to take the opportunity with a bit of emotion to acknowledge the tremendous work you have done, Paul, to establish, to settle this initiative, to raise its profiles, and to promote the initiative. As a result of this hard work, with the help of your team, of course, I think you were more or less 4 permanent, but you made the job of thousands, if I may say. But none of it would have been possible without your passion, without your dynamism, your constant determination to move forward and to advance this initiative, sometimes your occasional outbursts, Paul, but always for the right cause, and your unwavering conviction to place soils at the heart of the debates on food security and the fight against climate change. I think that we can say that without your involvement and constant commitment to this initiative, I think 4 per thousand would certainly not be what it has become today. And thanks to your efforts, we can measure, I think, how far we have come in the last 10 years. Now the initiative has nearly 900 partners from a wide range of backgrounds, scientists, governments, private sector representatives, farmers. And you also have helped a lot to strengthen the initiative's governance, increase its international visibility, and finally project the initiative's ambitions and actions through a strategic plan for 2050 with a real effort in terms of accountability. So I think that you have developed the implementation of this strategy as far as your resources at your disposal have allowed it. And you have structured the initiative into regional hubs, sub-regional organizations and meetings, participated in all the relevant and important international meetings to highlight the importance of soils for agroecology, for carbon sequestration, and you have developed strong relationships and partnerships with other initiatives. I would only mention but a few, like the Global Soil Partnership, the Agroecology Coalition, various international organizations like OIV, which has just celebrated its centenary last year, and the Farm Foundation more recently, just to mention a few. And as I said, you have legitimately devoted a lot of energy to promoting the initiative. The website, which for those who remember the initiative's early days, is now completely different, we can say, and it allows us to measure how far we've come from. The creation of newsletter, the identification of ambassadors for the initiative to act as sort of relays of communication, and not to mention dissemination on social media and the publication of reference works. You also gave a great importance on the scientific and technical committee through rigorous selection processes, which allows the initiative to be supported by the best soil experts around the world. In short, the initiative, I think we can say that, owes you a great deal. And if farmers, as mentioned in the book, hold the earth in their hands, then it can be said that you have carried the initiatives not on your hands, but on your shoulders. And on behalf of our minister, I believe on behalf of all of us, I would like to thank you very warmly, Paul, for your commitment. And I propose that we give you a round of applause. I don't know how to do virtually, but I think there are icons for that, and we can just applaud you. So I think that now a page is about to be turned, and the French Ministry of Agriculture, which I represent, is proud to announce the renewal of the position of Executive Secretary within the initiative, thus reaffirming France's constant commitment to these issues over the last 10 years. And following an internal and collegial selection process, we would like to propose the candidacy of Hélène Lemaitre-Curie for formal approval by the members of the consortiums. And if you allow me, I would like now to give the floor to Hélène so that she can introduce herself, describe her career briefly. I think she has 1 minute, and explain what motivates her and led her to apply for this demanding but very exciting position.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all of you. And first, I would like to say that I'm really honored by this proposal of the French Ministry of Agriculture. I'm Hélène Lemaitre-Curie. I have the opportunity to meet some of you. By training, I'm an agronomist. As Paul Lu, I'm also ingénieur du génie rural des eaux et des forêts. I specialized in agricultural economics and environmental economics with a PhD on public policy, looking in particular at the question of agro-environmental policies and what motivates farmers to transition towards more sustainable practices. And all along those positions that I had in several international organizations, I had the opportunity to see how soils were central to many of the key local and global issues we are facing at the moment, and how the involvement of all stakeholders, starting with farmers, are critical in this transition. In my last position in the Mediterranean, in an international organization based on the Mediterranean, I had the opportunity to work with the 4 per 1,000 initiative and really see how the enthusiasm, the energy carried by Paul and the capacity to bring together many different stakeholders around this very important common goal was changing the debate and bringing soils at the center of many discussions. And I found it fascinating, and I hope to have the opportunity to contribute along those lines in the future, and to meet with all of you and advance together the initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And let me thank once again the French Ministry of Agriculture for renewing this second month, and we are very happy to welcome you, Hélène Lemaitre-Curie. I'm sure that all our members are also happy about it, and as there is no objection, evidently, so you are welcome. I'm sure that there will be a strong continuity, and added to a strong continuity, innovation from that you'll draw from the experience that you have gathered in your career. So welcome again, congratulations, and you will see that this movement, as you already know, is a kind of family. It's a very diverse family, but with a family spirit and dedicated to results, achievements, and expansion. And we have seen it in the last decade, and I'm sure that you are coming in the next decade, and that next decade will be as wonderful as the previous one. So welcome again, and thank you. And I think all our members are supportive and are welcoming. So we will be very happy to work with you in this endeavor. Thank you again. Thank you again. Thank you. So now
we can continue that point. If
yes.
I may, Ibrahim, I would just like to say a few words after all those kind words directed to me. I'm very, it's quite emotional for me. I already had some support in Rio with all the STC when it was our last meeting in presential, and it was very emotional also. Thank you very much to all. I mean, of course, we reached nice result. We could have done a lot more, but it's a common work. It's not only, of course, as Frédéric said, the work of only one man. It's a work of a whole team. All the team around me here in Montpellier, in Bonn, in Spain. It was once in Paris because Paloma was online, was also there at once. And it was very a pleasure to work with all of you, all the STC members, all the chairs. And Ibrahim, it was really a pleasure to have this opportunity to meet you, and a pleasure to work with Stefan, of course, with Ercilia now, with Wolfgang, who is one of our vice chair, and also Gabrielle. I cannot forget her. And then really, all of that was possible because we were all hand in hands and we work all together. Without this spirit, and the fact that we all were very conscious, and we are still, that what we are talking about is so important for the future. We will never be able to do so. And I'm really happy to let my position to someone like Hélène. I'm sure she will also do her best and do a lot of things that maybe I have even not thought about it, but that's the magic to be all different and to bring all of us a different. I don't like this image of brick in the wall, but it's a little bit that because I don't like walls. But it's really what we hope to have in the future, and I hope to continue to be a little bit useful to the initiative. I will spend the coming months in Montpellier, close to Hélène, if she wishes me to do so, to help her to continue the work and find out in my messy computer all the important files. And well, it will be my pleasure. And after that, I can retire on my boat to go fishing. That will be one of my dreams for the future. But I will continue to be with you, at least in spirit. And thank you very much to all for your support, and thank you very much for your kind words again.
Thank you.
So it's difficult to.
I will spontaneously take the floor in the name of the Executive Secretariat, and I invite Claudia, Lance, Elena, everyone in the team to join us on the screen. And it's also very emotional for us, even if we are really happy to welcome Hélène, but we would like to clap for Paul, for his leadership, for his dedication, for his hard work, and for his kindness every day, every meeting, and we would like to clap. So a lot of noise.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. And there's something I didn't say. I'm not a soil specialist, evidently, but most of the things I learned on soil issues, I owe them to Paul, fundamentally, through conversations, through many interactions. So I was a learner, and thank you for teaching me. Thank you. That's an important part also.
Thank you, Ibrahim, and thank you to the Ministry of Agriculture for the support during those 10 years, and also for the continuous of the support for Hélène. She will need it, and I know that we can count on them. Well, I should confess also something, Ibrahim. I'm not a soil specialist as well, so I can say that now. Okay.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, but it's a positive parenthesis, so we can move on. And welcome again.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you. So we'll move now.
So I will continue, and I will continue to share my screen. Now we come to the presidency part of this item. So I try to express on this sketch the situation. Well, you see in green the mandate of Hercilia Saures. It's each part. It's a 2 years mandate, and so she is finishing the 2 years mandate as incoming vice president, and she will be for 2 years the president of the initiative. Then after that, she will become the outgoing vice president for 2 years. And during that time, Stéphane Le Foll finishing his presidency, and he will be outgoing vice president for 2 years. And then we will have to, the new incoming vice president will be elected at that time to replace him. And my dear Ibrahim, you are the outgoing vice president at the moment, and you will finish your mandate at the end of this year. And there will be a new incoming vice president to be elected at the beginning of next year that will take your position, and so on. And this is what we have installed a few years ago, a turning presidency, in order to be able to have a stability, because before we had only one president and one vice president, and we find out that it was sometimes not sufficient. So we reinforce that system, and now we will have 2 vice presidents and 1 president, and we have also a series of vice president of honor, and that could help also the whole presidency. So it means that for the future, I think, Hélène, it will not be possible not to have someone from the presidency available for chairing any meeting. And I'm sure that it will be a little bit more comfortable than the position I had for a few years, where I had to run after Ibrahim or Stefan, and sometimes they were not available. And fortunately, Wolfgang Zonbach was available, and he helped me to fulfill that role. So that's a very important point. So to find this new incoming vice president, we, as I said before, we launch a call, and we had only one candidature at the moment from Nepal. So I think it's not enough. Election should be conducted with several candidatures. So I propose to the consortium to reopen a call for the coming months, and to at least have 2 or 3 candidates to make the choice a little bit more easy and multiple for the whole consortium. So this is the proposition concerning the new incoming vice president, and it comes with the one from the scientific committee. It does not, I mean, it doesn't need to be validated by the consortium, but it's just for explanation what will happen. And the consortium will have an electronic consultation in the first semester to validate the new STC member and to elect the new incoming vice president. So that's the point that I wanted to stress too. And finally, I think I will let you the end on this one to present what the proposal made by the president, Stéphane Le Foll. So my dear Ibrahim, you have the floor.
Okay, so thank you very much, Paul. And the item is new members of the honorary presidency. So Stéphane Le Foll made a proposal to a consortium, and it was approved by the Bureau, so that Paul and my humble self could be part of this honorary position. So I'm reading, in recognition of the work done for the reputation of functioning of the initiative on the proposals of the President, Mr. Stéphane Le Foll, and those by the Bureau. It is proposed to the consortium of members to nominate from January 1st, 2026, as honorary president of the consortium of members of the initiative, Dr. Paul Lou and Ibrahim Bayaki. So this is, it's an honor to be honorary. It's not a repetition. I think all along these years, you get not only to increase your knowledge of the issues that are being discussed, but also to build a capacity in order to influence national, regional, and global processes. And the end goal, as we all know, is about evidently climate issues and the nexuses between climate, food security, having as a foundation soil health. And this has grown, and being part of that movement is a satisfaction by itself. So I warmly and gladly accept that, and I'm sure with Paul, maybe you can invite me to one of your fishing session in outside
With
of
more than pleasure. We will prepare some meeting.
And we'll have a kind of honorary fishing in this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim. So we can propose to the consortium to endorse this proposal if they wish.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot see any comments nor
I didn't hear any member of a consortium talk up to now, but
no, but nobody is requesting the floor, and we have a lot of comments in the chat, supportive of that. I have a question, which is not really a question; it's a comment telling that, I mean, some of our friends complaining that we are speaking only in English. Well, we are very sorry about that, but this is also due to the fact that we have to make some expense saving, and we have no translator this time. So very, very sorry for that. But hopefully in the future, it will be the case.
Yes, hopefully. And it would be easier for us to speak in French, evidently. So
Yes.
it has a cost on us too. Okay, good. So after this item, the following item is a recall. It's just a recall. It's a discussion on the legacy and on the perspective and vision for the next 10 years. I think that presentation was made.
Yes, Ibrahim, if I may,
Yes.
sorry, Mr. Chair. I just would like to, because we had a technical problem yesterday with the presentation made by Beatrice on the event that we had in Paris at the Grand Palais. I would suggest, if you agree, to allow her to present again this, because nobody could see the slide yesterday. And so we will have that, and it will be also a way to, maybe if there are some contribution from the consortium about the subject for the future, then it will be we'll be more than happy to discuss that with the consortium member.
Perfect. So Beatrice, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So the 10th celebration, the 10th high-level event in Paris on the 24th of April. So it was at the Grand Palais. We have co-organized the event with Change Now during the Change Now Summit, who took place in the Grand Palais with, in this beautiful building, historical building, that was built in 1900 for the first World Exhibition. So this building has been fully renovated. That was a tremendous opportunity to have our high-level event during the Change Now Summit within that beautiful location. So this was made possible due to 3 partners to Change Now, as I've just mentioned. Also due to Biosphere, a private sector company specialized in agroecology, who paid for the locations, and also by Moet & Cie, who has supported us by bringing the cocktail after the ceremony. And all this in line with the World Living Soils Forum of which FOPEMIL is a member of the committee. So the theme, as we said, it was a FOPEMIL legacy of the first decade and the perspectives, commitments, and action for the second decade. We had 2 roundtables and a transition. The first roundtable was about the first one with the legacy. Then we had a transition with the 3 historical funding ministries, France, Germany, and Spain, through their representatives. And then we had a second roundtable about the future. What are the perspectives, commitments, and action to be designed together? And that's a point on which we can come back. Speakers, we have an introduction by Mr. Le Foll, our president, and then Paul here as the executive secretary role was the moderator of it. We had the first roundtable with Dr. Mayaki and Mr. Barker, Director General of OIV, and Mr. Kleitz, who is Deputy Director for Science at ERD. Then we had the transition with a video from Ms. Genevard, the French Minister of Agriculture. We had Ms. Schild, which is online today, the official representative of the German Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and Mr. Riesgo, Spanish Agricultural Attaché of the Spanish Embassy in Paris, representing the Spanish Ministry of Agriculture. Roundtable 2 was more about the future, with Ms. Gélin Laniel, who is Policy Director at the DG Agri of the European Commission, with Mr. Hippolyte, who is a farmer and also the president of the Northeast APAD, which is the Association of the Promotion of the Conservation Agriculture. And then we had Ms. Meza from the Convention of Desertification. She is a new Deputy Secretary General. And we have a representative from the private sector, which is Danara Michelon, with the OP2B initiative hosted by the WBCSD located in Geneva. So to showcase you that we always invite different stakeholder representatives, and this is a very interesting mix, and this is a very inspiring way of mixing all these people together to talk about the past and the future. The conclusion was memorable thanks to Mr. Orsena, which is a French writer, quite famous, but also the president of the IEGF, which is an initiative very similar to FOPEMIL for the protection of the great rivers, and Mr. Zomba, who is honorary vice president of the FOPEMIL initiative, and we used to be at the BLE, at the German Federal Office for Food and Agriculture in Germany. So. And to finish, yeah, I wanted to, so I've put here the quotes of Mr. Le Foll and Dr. Mariaki, but I will read two more, which are interesting, also very interesting, because Miss Catherine Gélin-Lanéel said that she was very happy that the European Commission just joined the initiative. And she said that they were looking forward to a fruitful collaboration and common projects, and that they were thinking that FOPEMIL should be even more than it is today, a platform where farmers' needs can be expressed and where scientists, experts, those who know, can provide them with accessible, affordable, and easy to implement answers. And the second quotes I will mention, and these are all in the report of the first decade, it's a quote from Miss Andrea Mesamurillo, so Deputy Executive Secretary of the UNCCD. And she said that what we are trying to promote is to really make soil a central piece of any climate and biodiversity strategies. And this is where FOPEMIL plays a critical role. So I will finish with some pictures and saying also, I haven't mentioned that in my slides, but we were around more than 100 people, maybe 150 people there. It was very emotional, very interesting. And I thank you again, all the speakers, Dr. Mayaki, and of course, Paul, for this very, very interesting moment. And so you can see some pictures, and yeah, it was very, very, very nice, I must say.
And if you were not among the lucky people who were there, you will be able to find the whole video on YouTube.
Yes, well, it lasts 1 hour. It's quite quick to watch and very, very interesting to listen to all these roundtables and transitions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Beatrice. It was a very nice moment indeed. Very, I mean, very lively, very good interactions. It was a marking point, really, in a beautiful context. Okay, so thank you very much. And now we'll move to a part of the agenda, which is a presentation for information. I think this is just a recall, because the three presentations, the Lag Soil Carbon 2025 of Rio de Janeiro from 25 to 29 June 2025, was Soil Carbon for Climate Conference in Berlin, Germany, from September 11 to 13 of this year, and the UNFCCC COP Climate 30. These presentations were made yesterday. Am I right?
Yes.
Well, okay. So we are just reminding them today for information to our members. So now we can move to the next agenda item, and I will ask Claudia to intervene on soil carbon IHC, which is the International Research Consortium, regarding soil carbon futures, the next steps, and relations with the 4 per 1000 initiative. So, Claudia, the floor is yours.
Yes.
Yeah, this is really just a short intervention. I think many of you know that we've been working quite closely with the soil carbon IRC, and there have been a lot of questions about like what we do together, how the work we do and they do complement each other. And so we thought it's worth the while to have just a really quick update about the common activities we had during the last year and how we envisage to move forward. So I hope this will move now. Yes, okay. So maybe you can divide this collaboration in like 3 main parts. So the first one being really like structural or administrative connections between the 2 initiatives. The second one being joint events and activities, and the third one being the close and also institutionalized collaboration on the scientific basis with the scientific and technical committee being shared between the 2 initiatives. So maybe coming to the institutional intersections, I think it's very worthwhile to mention that Paul is the alternate co-chair of the steering committee of the IRC. So there's really this institutionalized collaboration where we have a lot of where we know firsthand what's going on in the IRC, where we can where we are part of the processes being developed and the decisions on the orientation of the initiative being taken. So I think that's a very valuable position Paul held there during the last year. And secondly, I already mentioned the institutionalized sharing of the scientific and technical committee between the 2 initiatives. So they're really close interlinkages, and we're still trying to see and to elaborate like how this can be developed further in the months to come. Maybe just a short look back. Last year we had quite many different activities we did together. So also on like more public events or like public stages. So for example, we had a joint session during the EU Carbon Farming Summit in March, which I think was really successful and where we could really showcase like the work the Caterpillar Mill Initiative has done during the last decade and how the work of the IRC fits into the bigger picture and how we can work together for the same cause in a way. Then Paul already mentioned, and Beate gave a great presentation on that yesterday, the Latin American and Caribbean Symposium on Soil Carbon Research, which we had in Rio de Janeiro. And I think that was really a prominent example of what we can do together and at what scale we can work together. And this will continue as well during COP30. So there will be joint side events, joint activities, so that the advocacy part on soil health based on science and scientific findings can really be moved forward together with the 2 initiatives. I will not talk a lot about the last point because we already heard about that from Budiman yesterday in the presentation on the STC's activities. Just mention that the STC was really actively involved in the review of different products generated from the scientific society in the IRC, and in this regard mainly under the ORCASA project, which was fully funded. So they came up with, I think, really useful products for the scientific community and beyond, and it was a great opportunity to collaborate on this and also give like the bigger picture on the scientific products, like how they could be used, how they could be translated into action. From the multi-stakeholder view, we can contribute to the whole process. Yes. So I think regarding the activities next year, there's still a lot to explore, and yes, as well on institutional levels, as well as on the activities we're going to do together. But I think we're all very eager to strengthen this collaboration and see like where we can go if we join forces in whatever way possible. as we really share a common goal, which is to increase the carbon storage and sequestration in agricultural and forestry soils. And I think it's really worthwhile joining forces on this. So we will continue the active engagement in the steering committee. We will also continue with the joint scientific and technical committee. It was an open question during the summer, but I think we're all really happy that we decided to move forward with the current model. And then we're already planning different activities for the next year, but this is really just some first examples. This is under development for now. So we try to have a joint session again during the 3rd EU Carbon Farming Summit, which is going to happen in Padova in March. Maybe this can also be a nice opportunity to get some SDC members on spot, but I think this has to be seen moving forward if it's possible or not. Yeah, we also thought about having joint webinars for scientific outreach, so to really strengthen this outreach engagement in a joint manner, as this is something we both try to foster and which is very important for both initiatives in a way. There's the ongoing and upcoming collaboration with the GSP regarding the databases, but I put TBD here, so this is really more an idea for now, so stay tuned and be curious. Yes, and then we're going to collaborate as well in the Carbon Removal Alliance, which will be one of the plans to accelerate solutions under the COP30 action agenda, and will probably, from what I know, be launched during COP30 just in a couple of weeks. And of course, we will also continue with those joint side events during bigger political events. So I just put COP31, but of course, this includes all the different COPs happening next year. Yes, so that's just a really quick overview. Happy to hear any comments, any thoughts, further ideas. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Claudia. And if there are views and comments, they are evidently welcome.
I cannot see any in the comments or question. I should say that in support of what Claudia said, that this collaboration with the DRC is very key for us. And we are very pleased that we are sharing with them the STC, which is very important to have this coordination and this working in relation to because it's important not to be divided, but to all go in the same direction in this context, because we need also to work together to find ways for the research to continue to work and answer the question for the farmers and for all the people.
Okay, thank you. And I see a comment from Jean-Luc Schott. UNCCD COP17 should be on our agenda. Soils and LDN are aligned. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. And it's in our agenda. Okay. Jean-Luc knows that we are devoted to that. Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. So, Claudia, thank you again. It's very clear, and what strikes me is the networking capacity, which stretches very intensely. I mean, and that's one of the strengths of the initiative and of what has been built. Thank you. So now we are coming at the end of our meeting. Dear members, esteemed members, ladies and gentlemen, we reach the end of our 10th meeting of Consortium of members, which also marks the end of our 9th 4,000 Initiative Day. As I said in my introduction to this consortium, this also marks the end of my term within the ecosystem of a presidency, and it marks the end of a mandate of one. And I know that Paul and I are extremely grateful for the trust you have placed in us, in designating us, in allowing us to be part of this honorary presidency. So I know, but speaking in the name of Poland, you can allow me to do that. We are thankful and grateful for that. So thank you for all the time we have shared. It's been quite a lot of time and all the work accomplished over these 10 years. I sincerely hope to be here in 10 years' time when we celebrate the initiative's second decade. But I cannot conclude without offering my thanks, as Stéphane Le Foll did yesterday in his introduction to the Forum of Partners. I feel it is important to thank all the current and former members of the Scientific and Technical Committee, in particular the successive chairs who have led the scientific group with dedication and motivation, including, and I name them, Magali Garcia Cardenas, Cornelia Rumpel, Beverly Henry, Farshad Ami Raslani, and of course, Deborah Bosio and Budiman Minasni. I must also thank the entire current executive secretariat team who work tirelessly every day to bring to life this wonderful idea of agroecological agriculture based on living soils rich in carbon, contributing to the fight against climate change and food insecurity. And really, I'll stop here and thank the secretary. There are not many, and you think there are 50, 60, 70. So the quantity and the quality of work that they deliver is really impressive, and it has to be noted. And thank you to the Bone team at BLE, namely Claudia, Catalina, Samuel, and Lance, while thinking of Viridiana, Gianna, Julia, Conrad, and Mark. Thank you to Elena, based in Madrid at the Spanish Ministry of Agriculture. Y tu aporte, Elena, ha sido muy fructífero. Así que muchas gracias de nuevo. We have fought for Paloma, and thank you to the Montpellier team, namely Beatrice and Brigitte, with the support of our consultants, Frédéric, Philippe, Antoine, Oliver, and Thibault. Thank you all for your hard work and for the energy and motivation you put into your work every day, despite sometimes unfavorable circumstances. The context is not easy, but you fight very hard to move ahead. Finally, allow me to give a special mention to Paul. We did it already, but repeating it is important. Our executive secretary, who has been at the head of the secretariat for almost 10 years, was lifted the initiative and contributed to its rayonnement around the world. He was already there when Stéphane Le Foll announced in Montpellier in March 2015, to everyone's surprise, the creation of a 4,000 initiative during COP21 held in Paris 9 months later, where he was also present in person, as if to ensure that the birth went smoothly. And the history of the origin of 4,000, we don't have time to go through it, but it's quite interesting, and it's better told in a cocktail contest. Huh? It's now we know that Paul will soon be leaving to take a well-deserved retirement, and this 9th day of a 4,000 initiative will have been his last. So big thank you, Paul, for all what you have brought to the initiative in terms of freshness, vitality, and robustness. Finally, we would like to welcome Hélène, who will be taking over from Paul as Executive Secretary at the beginning of 2026. I am sure that the next decade will be as sound, impactful, and refreshing as the past decade. We are counting on you to maintain the dynamism and activity of the Secretariat and the initiative for many years to come. So welcome again, warmly. So everyone, have a great day and see you soon for the next phase of our wonderful initiative, our wonderful journey, and a wonderful moment. And we will carry small moments and big moments in our hearts, and we'll carry in our heads how these processes have been enriching for us and impactful for the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ibrahim, for all, and thank you to all the members for this day. Bye-bye to all.